on this Valentine's Day special. So thank you everyone that has joined so far. If you would like to give us a share, drop any comments in the comment section and like this post, that would be amazing. And yeah, take it away, Ian. What can you tell us about Jessie and Panja and their relationship?
Okay, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Welcome to one of our most famous and favourite couples here at Paradise Wildlife Park. We've got Jessie and Panja is just sat on the rocks at the back there. It's a beautiful cold day, which luckily for our snow leopards, they absolutely love this. And these two have been together for around, about 4 years now. Panja actually lived with our previous male, Mizzy, who was an older girl, and sadly she passed away. So we brought Jessie in from a different zoo in the UK to be paired up with her on the breeding programme. And we are hoping this little cold snap will actually kick her into season. This is the most normal time for snow leopards to mate. They get ready to give birth in the spring. In the wild, you're normally talking from about November to about February is their typical breeding season. And that means that their cubs are born in the springtime, and there's a bit more of an abundance of prey because most of their prey species also are given birth in that time as well. So even though they are one of our favourite couples here at the park, it wasn't always that case. Actually, when they first got put together, Panja actually dived off one of the high platform beams here onto Jessie on their first introduction, and it absolutely petrified her. So they had a very, very rocky start. She was a little bit young at the time. She was only about 19 months old when we first introduced them, so she just left her parents. And he was a bit more of a mature male, a few years older than her. And this kind of first introduction actually set Jessie back quite a long way. They actually did live together for the first 4 months of their lives when they got here. But sadly, it was definitely a rocky relationship. They used to spend a lot of time apart. We would feed them separately. And Jessie didn't really want Panja anywhere near him, or near her. So after about 4 months, we actually got into about March, close to April time. And Jessie finally hit sexual maturity. For Panja, this meant he suddenly decided he was going to take an interest in her. And lucky for us, after that first season that she had, their relationship has blossomed ever since. And actually, Jessie now probably rules the house more than Panja. He's a lot more scared of her than she is of him these days. And their relationship has blossomed ever since. And over the last few years, we have had breeding recommendations for these. And as Jessie's got a little bit older, and a little bit more mature, we're hoping that this year might be the year that they're successful for having cubs.
Cool, thank you so much so far, Ian. So as you can see on the camera right now, Panja is in the background, kind of hiding behind a tree. He's yawning quite a lot. I think we have just woke him up a little bit, bless him. And Jessie's just gone back into her house. I think she's ready to go back to bed. But for those of you that have joined, we have a couple of quick announcements that we can make. So we have just launched some Panja clothing, snow leopard clothing, inspired by our lovely Panja, that you can actually buy on our new online shop. And obviously we are in a current lockdown, so if you would like to donate, then please head to our Animal Support Fund and you could donate to us there.
So with our two snow leopards, they're obviously from a cold region. They come from the Himalayas. They're found throughout that whole mountain range there. You're probably talking 13, maybe 14 different countries. At the moment, we actually believe there's probably around 4,000 to 8,000 snow leopards left in the wild today. Now, there's quite a big gap there, and that's because we call it what we call a guesstimate for their population in the wild. They are vulnerable and they are a protected species. But because they're spread over such a large habitat in the wild in so many different countries, it's very hard to get an accurate census. So we've actually only done accurate census work, which means basically counting snow leopards on camera traps and knowing exactly how many are in certain areas over about 1.5% of their home range in the wild. So it's a very small small survey that's been done. So we basically have this guesstimate of how many we think that are throughout their natural habitat in the wild. Now, if you do support the park here and donate money to us, we do heavily support snow leopard conservation in the wild, which is through the Snow Leopard Trust. They're a great charity working all across their home ranges throughout the Himalaya region there. And it means that if you do support us, money will get donated to help try and protect these amazing species out in the wild as well. So, like I said, we are hoping that these guys are going to come into breeding season over the next few days. I actually thought that Valentine's Day would be the perfect day, and over the last couple of days I've heard a lot more territory calling. Now, unlike other big cats, these guys can roar, but they don't roar continuously. So it's slightly different to all their big cat cousins, so the lions and the tigers. When they're doing their calls and their territory calling, it's always a continuous roar, but these have a gap in between. And that's because they have this hyoid in their throat. In big cats, this is like a cartilage, so it kind of wobbles and it helps produce these big roars that we have. And in small cats, this hyoid or this cartilage is actually ossified. It's kind of like hard and bony. And that's why small cats can purr but can't roar, and big cats can roar but don't purr. So actually with snow leopards, it's a bit of 50-50. It's kind of like half ossified and half cartilage. And that's why they can roar, but they don't roar continuously. But they don't purr like small cats. They actually do chuffle, just like our tigers and some of our other big cat species, like our jaguars. They make this proosting sound, or this chuffle that generally keepers call it. It's a beautiful noise, and it's kind of like a reassuring noise or a friendly noise. And these guys, when they do start to get flirty with each other, he'll kind of shadow them. They'll chuffle at each other a lot more, and that gives the keepers a really good idea that these guys are actually going to come into season and hopefully start mating.
Cool, so thank you for everyone joining the live stream so far. You can actually adopt these guys. We've had a few comments in the comments section. So yeah, we can actually adopt Jessie and Panja if you head to our new online shop. Follow us through the website, and I also posted a link in the description in the title of the video after. And we do have an online shop as well, which we've just launched, where you can buy clothing inspired by our amazing Panja. So definitely check that out. There's some really nice hoodies, t-shirts and jumpers on there.
So as it's kind of -6, -7 on this amazing Valentine's Day, as you can see, it's quite sunny as well, but the snow leopards absolutely love this weather, and they're completely adapted. In the wild, they can be in temperatures of -20, -30 below, up in that mountain range, and living in snow for kind of half the year as well. And if you look at Jessie, she's got a nice big thick winter coat on at the moment. We haven't weighed her for a while to see, but she's usually around 40 kilo, but in the winter she just really bushes out, and it's hard to see a kind of waistline from a keeper's point of view. So we try and weigh them as regularly as possible to make sure she's not putting on too much weight under all that extra fur. And you can see she's got this really long, thick, bushy tail as well, and it's one of my favourite aspects of the snow leopards, because they use this for a few different reasons. These guys can jump notoriously from about 30-40 feet up in the air, and I've seen footage over the last couple of years from wildlife photographers out in the wild following these guys, of these guys actually tumbling off mountains 50-60 feet down. We've never had them jump that high, but I have seen them jump about 20 to 30 foot from a standing jump. So it's an incredible power in their legs, and actually when they're in mid-air, they use that long thick tail, and it acts like a kind of rudder, and it helps them change direction. So when they're chasing quite agile, nimble prey like ibex and mountain goats and some of the smaller antelope and mountain hares across this kind of steep mountain range, they can change direction very, very quickly. But they also use that tail to wrap around their face, and this is actually acts like a scarf, and it stops them getting kind of frostbite on the tips of their nose and their eyelids there, which is really good. And these guys often, if you're watching any of the park's videos, if you haven't, please go back and see them cuddled up together, and you often find that their tails are wrapped around each other, or using them each other's tails as pillows as well. When you look at their paws, they actually look like puppies that haven't quite grown into their feet yet. They've got these huge pads, and actually even on the bottom of their pads, unlike a lot of cats, it's quite furry in between them. It helps insulate them. And the reason their feet are so big is when they're walking through the snow there, it helps disperse their body weight and stops them sinking too much when they're in really deep snow. And they also have this breathing apparatus in their lungs that actually can warm the air with large nostrils to get oxygen in. So when they're in high altitude areas, these guys don't struggle to breathe so much when they're in this kind of thin air up high on the mountain range.
Amazing, thank you so much, Ian. We have actually got some questions coming in. So just first of all, who wears the trousers in the relationship?
That is definitely Jessie. It wasn't initially, but today Jessie will always be the first person over for the hand feed experiences, or the first cat over for the hand feed experiences, and Panja gets a look in if she lets him afterwards.
Nice. And who's soppier in the relationship, Jessie or Panja?
I think definitely probably Panja for that one. Jessie's she's a good female cat. She's got a little bit of feistiness around her, which will do her well if she gets cubs. But Panja is definitely the more affectionate one towards keepers, often rubbing against the mesh when his favourite keepers are around. And yeah, he definitely is the one that likes to come running in the house when people are there. Jessie kind of does what she wants when she wants in her own time.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much everyone for joining in to our live at the zoo at Paradise Wildlife Park. If you did enjoy the live stream, please drop us a share, any likes as well. We are on YouTube, so also subscribe to us on there, where this live also was. And yeah, thank you very much. Have a great Valentine's Day, everyone, and take care. Hopefully we'll see you soon at Paradise.
Happy Valentine's Day.